Everyone said my son was unemployed. They said it with pity first, then with judgment. Such a good education, the neighbors whispered. And now nothing. I nodded along, because that is what mothers do when they don't want to argue with the world. But every morning at exactly 8:10, my son put on a suit. It wasn't new. The elbows were faintly shiny, the cuffs slightly frayed. Still, he pressed it carefully, tied his tie with practiced precision, and polished his shoes until they reflected the ceiling fan above us. He never carried a briefcase, never mentioned interviews, never spoke of colleagues. He simply kissed my forehead and said, "I'll be back before sunset." And every evening, he returned exhausted, with blood on his hands. At first, I told myself lies: kitchen accidents, nosebleeds, helping someone hurt on the road. Mothers are experts at explanations that protect the heart. But the stains didn't behave like accidents. They were too frequent, too deliberate, sometimes dried into the lines of his palms, as if they belonged there. So one morning, I decided to stop believing and start watching. I followed him at a distance, my shawl pulled low, my breath tight in my chest. He walked past offices where men with real jobs disappeared behind glass doors. He didn't slow, didn't look envious. He turned instead into a narrow street. The city pretended didn't exist. The buildings there leaned inward, like conspirators. The air smelled of rust, medicine, and something sweeter: rotting fruit or despair. He stopped at an unmarked door. No sign, no name. He knocked twice. The door opened, and he stepped inside. I waited. Minutes passed, then hours. I was about to knock myself when a scream cut through the walls. Not loud, not dramatic, just human. I pressed my hand to my mouth. The door finally opened near sunset. My son emerged, shoulders heavy, suit darkened at the sleeves. He saw me instantly. "Ma," he said softly, not surprised, just tired. I expected anger, lies, panic. Instead, he stepped aside and let me see. Inside were beds too many for the size of the room. Men, women, even children, lay there, bandaged, breathing, alive. A woman clutched her newborn. An old man whispered prayers. Someone groaned as a needle slid into skin. My son washed his hands at a steel sink. The water ran red, then clear. "I couldn't find work," he said quietly. "Not the kind that pays money." I stared at him. "Then what is this?" He looked around the room. "Work that pays in survival." He told me everything. How, after months of rejection, he had been approached by a man who ran an underground clinic. No licenses, no funding, no safety net, just skill and necessity. They treated those who couldn't afford hospitals: laborers, injured on illegal sites, women burned by acid.